Hello, I am the Godless Engineer, and you are here on Did Jesus Exist? So tell me, did he exist?
Engineer, a conscious pioneer, a logic general, a reason brigadier. More bullshit from the pulpit. Meet me in the comment section and you get schooled, bitch. The Godless Engineer.
Well, Flavius Josephus in no way, of course, gives an accurate account of him existing. But there are actually two passages in Flavius Josephus that, kind of reference Jesus in some way. Last week, I dealt with the first one, the Testimonium Flavianum. If you're unfamiliar with that, I suggest you go and check that shit out now. If you just so happen to be here for this week's part of Flavius Josephus, well then you're in fucking luck. Because I'm going to discuss the James reference in it. I mean, it's got all the great makings of a good dramatic action movie. A man is wrongfully tried, convicted, and killed. And then the people rise up and call for his brother to replace him on the throne. Or high priesthood, what the fuck ever. Well, that's the basic story of, this second reference in Flavius Josephus. In his Antiquities of the Jews. Well, let's look at what the actual text says first, shall we?
Festus was now dead, and Albinus was put upon the road. So he, Ananus, the Jewish high priest, assembled the Sanhedrin of judges, and brought before them the brother of Jesus, him called Christ, whose name was James, and some others. And when he had formed an accusation against them as breakers of the law, he delivered them to be stoned. But as for those who seemed to be most equitable of the citizens, and such as they were the most uneasy at the breach of the laws, they disliked what was done. They also sent to the king, desiring him to send Ananus, that he should act no more, for that what he had already done was not to be justified. Nay, some of them went also to meet Albinus, as he was upon his journey from Alexandria, and informed him that it was not lawful for Ananus to assemble a Sanhedrin without his consent. Whereupon Albinus compiled with what they said, and wrote in anger to Ananus, and threatened that he would bring him to punishment for what he had done. On which King Agrippa took the high priesthood from him, when he had ruled but 3 months, and made Jesus, the son of Damnius, high priest.
Now, there are a lot of reasons to disregard this as an actual thing that was written by Josephus, and some of them are what we discussed previously in, the Testimonium Flavianum, but we'll repeat them here for posterity or some shit. First of all, it's the usage of the word Christ. Back in that time, Christ just meant the anointed one or the Messiah. And if you don't happen to remember, Flavius Josephus actually thought that the guy he was serving, Vespasian, was the Messiah. So it doesn't really make sense for him to call, this Jesus, who is called Christ. There's no reason for him to actually call him the Christ when he wouldn't actually hold that belief. Now, another reason why that we could possibly disregard this is because why would these Jews be so angry over a Christian being stoned to death? Why would the Jews be angry? I mean, the Jews were the ones that were going around and fucking killing the apostles in Acts. Why would they give a flying fuck about this Christian if they were out there killing the fuck out of the rest of the Christians? It literally doesn't make any kind of goddamn sense. Now, with that being said, the way that this James was killed in this particular passage, it in no way relates to how Acts or anything in the Bible actually kills James the Just. In case you're unaware of how he died, he was actually chased by a mob, basically, of Jews, and he was stoned and clubbed to death because he was preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ. Well, basically, he was blaspheming the Lord in the way they were saying it. So, of course, you know, that's the only civilized thing to do, is just stone the fucker and beat him to shit with clubs and stuff. Now, there are a good number of reasons to believe that this was actually an accidental interpolation by a later scribe who actually worked in a marginal note into the passage as an accident. Now, this part I'm actually pulling from Dr. Richard Carrier. If you're really interested in this subject of did Jesus exist, he is one of the go-to people that you need to go and look at in order to, you know, better educate yourself on this and not just my shitty little videos. But what Carrier lays out is a really good case against this being a natural thing that occurred within Flavius's writings. And he breaks it down into basically 5 parts. First off, if somebody wanted to make a marginal note because they were curious about a reference in Flavius's work, the one called Christ, would have been the perfect thing to write in the marginal note. It's what you would expect to appear in the margins. This particular type of phrase was actually common during the time span that we're talking about. Next is that the phrase is nearly identical to Matthew 1:16 and is quite literally almost nothing like anything that Flavius Josephus would have even considered writing. There has been some discussion of this this particular part of this reference not even being in Flavius Josephus in all the different versions we have, even to the earliest one. There have been references in the past to manuscripts of Flavius Josephus that don't even have this in it. So this would actually lead us to doubt whether or not Flavius actually wrote this motherfucker. And finally, a really big fucking nail in the coffin. I mean, it's almost like somebody got an automatic nail gun and just went down the coffin and went fa-boom, 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 fa-boom. At the very end of this passage, it actually says this.
King Agrippa took the high priesthood from him when he had ruled but 3 months and made Jesus, the son of Damnius, high priest.
Yeah, they call this particular Jesus the son of Damnius. Now, wait a second. Who is Jesus' father in the Bible? I know this. Fuck. God? Nope. Well, God is one of them, but there's another guy. I know it. I know. Joseph! Ah, that's right, Joseph. It wasn't Damnius. It was Joseph. So why would Flavius Josephus actually call this Jesus the one called Christ, even though he's the son of Damnius? This particular reference doesn't comport with any kind of profile that we have of an actual Jesus. And not only that, but this particular passage takes place in like 62 CE, whereas Jesus is supposedly have died around 30 CE. This would have also put this particular Jesus being, dealt with and identified well after, Mark and all of them had actually written any of their Gospels or what the fuck ever. At least Mark. Mark was written way before this guy died. So there you have it. That is the second reference in Flavius Josephus. I felt the need to break this up into 2 different parts because the first one was about 15 fucking minutes long. And, of course, with this one, it completes the package. And now you have the full refutation of any Flavius Josephus out there. And I hope that you will use this video, or at least the information contained in it, especially the links down below that explain the arguments against this reference in Flavius Josephus. Hope you'll use them in debates to prove people wrong if they are actually trying to prove a historical Jesus. Because I know me personally, I would love to hear some good arguments for Jesus' existence, but yet I haven't heard any yet. If you have a good argument, please go down below, leave me a comment. I would love to hear what your argument is for the historicity of Jesus. If you don't happen to care about the historicity of Jesus, that's fine. Fucking don't share this thing out. If you like this video, though, share this motherfucker out. Give me a like down below. And, as always, think skeptically. Stay godless.